Hello students. So now we are covering the chapter judiciary and this is video number 2. In the previous video we had already discussed what is judiciary, how important it is, what kind of role is played by the judiciary particularly in India, very important functions from dispute resolution to judicial review, and then protection of our fundamental rights and as well as constitution, that is also done by the judiciary. Then the next topic we had covered was the independent judiciary of India, how the judiciary independence is ensured through the constitution, how the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts are appointed, and how once they are appointed it is almost impossible to remove them from their posts. All this is done to ensure the independence of judiciary, and we have to also keep in mind that if judiciary is independent, only democratic system can run in a smooth manner. So now we are moving to the next topic, that is the structure of judicial system in India, the structure of courts in India. So we have three tiers of the court. At the lowest level there are the district courts, then the high courts. In each state there is arrangement of a high court, although that is not compulsory that each state will have one high court. It means some of the states have common high court, like Haryana and Punjab has a common high court at Chandigarh. And then at the top level is the Supreme Court. So this is the diagram which is explaining to you the three-tier system of the judiciary. At the top is the Supreme Court, which is considered as the apex court. Then comes the High Court. High Court will be considered the top court of a state. And there are right now we have 24 high courts in India. And then each district of a state has a district court, which is furtherly divided into the several subordinate parts. So I hope you understood the structure of the judiciary in India. Supreme Court at the top, then the High Court, which is the top court in each state, and then the district courts. And district courts are further divided into some subordinate courts, which have some different names at different places. So now we have covered this topic and moving to the next part, that is whether the judiciary system in India is integrated. Are they interlinked? The answer is yes. Our judiciary is interlinked. That means all the three tiers of the courts, they are interconnected. How they are interconnected? You have to prove it. And your first point is that Supreme Court, which is the apex court, will monitor the functioning of all the courts in India, and whatever will be decided in the higher court, that will be completely applied on lower courts. Like the decision of the Supreme Courts will be taken as exemplary for the high courts as well as the district courts. In the same way, the decisions of the district courts will be taken as an example for the lower courts which are working at district level. So in this way they are interconnected. The second way is that the observatory committees of the upper courts, they come to the lower courts to find out the functioning of lower courts. Are they running in a smooth manner or not? That is also ensured. And the third one, which has been given to you here through the example, it has been explained, that is the appellate system. So under this appellate system, if we are not satisfied with the decision of the lower court, then we can make the appeal at the higher court, that is the High Court. And then if we are not satisfied with the decision of the High Court, then we can move further to the Supreme Court. So this is the appellate jurisdiction, and here it has been explained to you through one very important example, that is the state of Delhi versus Lakshman Kumar and other case. So in this case, Sudha Goyal's family member accused Lakshman Kumar, her husband, and her mother-in-law that they had burned their daughter alive for the sake of dowry, and because of which she succumbed to her burnt injuries and died on February 1980. So in this case, the lower court that gave decision against Lakshman Kumar and his mother as well as his brother, and they were sentenced to death, but they filed an appeal in the High Court in 1983, and in the High Court the Lakshman Kumar, his mother and his brother, all the three were set free because of lacking of evidence. When this judgment came, the entire India, particularly the women, they were boiled with anger, and then they again filed a case in the Supreme Court against this decision. They made the appeal, and then because of their appeal, Supreme Court took the notice, and finally after the hearing the decision was taken against the Lakshman Kumar and his mother, although his brother was set free because of lack of evidence. But both mother and the son, they were given a life imprisonment for killing their daughter-in-law and wife. So this was the case which can explain to you how the parties, if they are not satisfied with the decision of the lower court, then they can go to the higher court. So this is the appellate system through which all the three courts are interconnected. So I hope you understood this appellate system. Now we move to the next part. So the next part makes the difference between the criminal laws and civil laws. So at the district levels, we can divide our courts mainly in two parts. One is called session court or criminal court, and the another one is called civil courts. So if there is a breach of law and violation of the law, then according to that law, if any offense is made which is going against that, then we can approach to the criminal court or session court. Suppose the incidence of violence, suppose the incidence of theft, suppose the incidence of any kind of crime against women, they will be taken by the session court or the criminal courts. If there is a dispute over the rights, like there is a dispute over the property, there is a dispute over the rental issue between the owner as well as between the tenant, then this case will go to the civil courts, because here the rights are violated but no crime has been committed. So this is called the civil cases, and the civil courts will deal with it. Second very important thing we have to understand, in the violation of law where any kind of violence, physical, mental harassment has been taken place, then the punishment will be given according to the crime committed. But in the civil cases, no punishment is given, only the rights are restored to the eligible party by the court. So this is the difference between the civil court or the civil cases and criminal cases. Now we are moving to the next topic, that is related to PIL. Now we have to understand that Indian judiciary system, that is very slow, and sometime the solution of the cases comes after years and years, after 20-30 years. So such a long process require not only the time of the person but also the money resources which he has to spend on the cases. So that is why the poor people, due to the lack of time and lack of money, they hardly approach to the courts. So in this way, due to the weakness of our judicial structure, the poor people never think of getting the justice. So for those poor people, this arrangement was made, which is known as the arrangement of PIL or public interest litigation. So what is this PIL on the interest, on the initiative of Supreme Court. Now this right has been provided to all the active citizen in India, that if they feel anywhere the poor people, the weaker community, they are being exploited by anyone, any institution, any government's decision, or any person, then on behalf of those poor people, they can appeal in the court. They can file a PIL, public interest litigation. So public interest litigation, the method is very simple. Even you can write a letter or send a telegram to High Court or Supreme Court over any public issue, and then if they think your raising question is valid, then they can take the cognizance, वो इस बात का ध्यान ले सकते हैं और उस मामले को सुना जा सकता है. तो तब 1980 से आज तक बहुत से ऐसे इश्यूज हैं जिनके ऊपर पीआईएल को कंसिडर किया गया है. एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम्पल आपको आपकी बुक में दिया हुआ है. लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट इट. So in 2000-2001, due to the drought situation in the states like Rajasthan and Odisha, many poor people were not in situation to afford food. That's why there were the cases of starvation. भूख से लोगों की डेथ हो रही थी. तो ऐसे समय में एक organization which is known as PUCL, Public Union for that is Public Union for Civil Liberty, that had taken the cognizance and filed a PIL in the Supreme Court regarding this situation of the poor people. What they filed, they appealed the Supreme Court that on the one hand the people are starving, the people are dying due to the hunger, but on the other hand the government godowns are full or over flooded with the food grains which are lying in the open area. The rats and other animals, they are destroying them, but the government is not ready to utilize this over flooded food godowns by helping the poor people who are dying out of hunger. So this appeal was taken into cognizance by the Supreme Court, and finally the verdict was given on this PIL that it is the duty of the governments to take care of the food needs of the citizen of this country. So through this case, Supreme Court also extended our right to life under Article 21 and connected it with the right to food, and it said that a right to life is possible only when the people of this country will get the right to food. So this was the PIL which finally resulted into a historical decision in favor of the poor people, and since then the poor people, they are getting many benefits due to this PIL, like they are getting the rations at the minimum cost of rupees 2 and 3, particularly the BPL people. And in the same way, midday meal scheme, they were implemented throughout the country. Similarly, in the Olga Telis versus the Bombay Municipal Corporation case, Supreme Court explained that the right to life is also connected with right to livelihood. So in the end, now we have reached to the last page, which explains some of the weaknesses of the judicial system of India, like the delays in decisions as well as the overloaded work of these courts. Because our courts, they are overloaded with the cases, that's why the decisions that is taken after a long period of time. और कई बार ये होता है कि जब तक डिसीजन आता है तब तक या तो क्रिमिनल की डेथ हो जाती है या फिर जिस आदमी ने जस्टिस के लिए केस किया है उसकी डेथ हो जाती है. सो दिस इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द ओवरबर्डन्ड जुडिशियल सिस्टम. और आपको ये डाटा भी दिया हुआ है जिसमें एक्सप्लेन किया गया है कि कैसे हमारे सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट और डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट्स में बहुत सारे जजेस की कमी है. उनकी पोस्ट खाली हैं, बट वी हैव नॉट स्टिल अपॉइंटेड देम. सो दिस इज़ द फाइनल टॉपिक. I hope you understood each and everything. Thank you for watching the video.